Hello, everybody, and welcome to a kind of return of show, but almost like a beta. We're here to actually do, ironically, on Royal Rumble Sunday, a Royal Rumble commentary. Now, it won't be the full show, because, like I said, this is more going to be a beta episode just to make sure everything's working okay and that we can have a good idea of what we're doing. But we're actually going to choose a Royal Rumble that kind of set the tone for that year and sort of one of the biggest stars of the company at that time. And ironically, the guy that wins the Rumble
Isn't that a
is,
spoiler?
well, no, all
It's a
I'm saying
spoiler
is,
for something 11 years ago, I suppose.
yeah, exactly. If you haven't watched it by now, then
It's like the
well,
5 second rule for dropping food on the floor, but it's the 11-year rule for spoiling wrestling.
yeah, it's 11 years old. I'm pretty sure people have heard it by now. The guy that wins the Royal Rumble he became a pretty big star in UFC and a pretty big star in the WWE right
King
now.
Shamrock?
No, this guy actually done something useful in UFC.
CM Punk? Oh,
No.
that's a bit forward thinking, I think.
No, I hope he gets beaten the crap out of in UFC because I hope he goes in there thinking that he's all great and gold and that whoever faces him just beats the living crap out of him. He goes, "Oh, you think you're great? No, you ain't shit."
Yeah. I'm gonna watch that regardless, and I don't watch
Oh, I am.
much MMA, but I will definitely watch that just because he's either gonna do really really well or he's either gonna die in the octagon.
It's gonna be interesting because okay, small tangent before we start. Obviously, when Lesnar had his first fight, with Frank Mir at UFC 81, that was a huge pay per view because obviously it was like this is the first time that a legitimate wrestler, well sports entertainer, whatever you want to call it, went to the UFC rather than it being the other way around, which was like Shamrock and people like that go from the UFC to WWE. So when Lesnar went over, it was a huge thing, and the fact that Lesnar beat Frank Mir's ass for 80 odd seconds of that fight meant he stayed, which is
True.
why he got which is why he got his second match and obviously then won the title against Couture and got the rematch at UFC 100, which I still believe is the biggest UFC event to date. That's in terms of pay-per-view buys and revenue, that's still the biggest UFC to date. So it's ironic that UFC 100 is their biggest one, as it should be. Um, and that's how, and then obviously because of the diverticulitis, obviously it kind of ruined his UFC career, which is a shame. I wonder if CM Punk's either going to do the same thing, where maybe he might have a good showing and might get beaten, or if he is going to just flat out come out and rock the house down. But
How
either
long
way,
how long is he contracted for?
what Punk?
Yeah, because I know they do like a
I
X
don't.
number of fights, don't they?
I,
Rather than a 2 year deal, they do like X number of fights.
I don't know what his contract deal is. All I know is he's got fights listed for this year. So whether or not he does one or two, I don't know. But I know they've said he has got fights listed for this year. I think that
Right.
was it.
Anyway, Royal Rumble.
But yes, going back to the Royal Rumble. Obviously, we're here to talk about the Royal Rumble. Obviously, it's me, James, and obviously Tom
Yeah,
from
that's me,
Tom
baby.
Williams Productions.
I know. Yeah, that I have total creativity there, don't I? Yeah. Like this is just a bit of a collab thing. I mean, we don't know if we're going to do these again, but I mean, here's the thing, right? This was one of my little ideas, simply because I have the network, James has the network, therefore we're watching exactly the same stream of the show. So I figure why not give it a go? Now, uh, I was all for doing one of these simply because it's the Royal Rumble. It's the most exciting show of the year, in my opinion. I mean, some might say, well, WrestleMania. Well, to me, WrestleMania this year has got significantly less appeal in it to me because it doesn't have Undertaker defending the streak. Even if he's at the show, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same to me. It's like it's something different. So, but the Royal Rumble always has at the end of the night that 30-man match where you don't know who's going to be in it, you don't know who's going to appear, and it's so long ago for me that I don't. I mean, obviously I know who's going to win. Let's be honest, but I don't know if there are any surprise entries in there. So I too might be like, "Holy shit, what's he doing there?"
I,
Or
I,
she, or
I will say, and I've always said this, especially in the last 5 or 6 years, when you really think about it, WrestleMania is not made for wrestling fans. WrestleMania is not a wrestling show.
It's not
WrestleMania is never meant to be for
the
wrestling fans.
hardcores.
Like for me, like I know this is going to be a bit of a a bit of an out there statement, but I've said it before. The Super Bowl to me, the Super Bowl is no longer a football fans game. The Super Bowl is now all about the pageantry, about the show, about who's on the halftime show, and who's doing the TV deal and who are doing the fireworks. It's all about the pageantry and trying to give you the best TV show rather than it being the football. The football is a big part, but it's just the afterthought. Same way with WrestleMania.
WrestleMania has become too big.
The whole point of WrestleMania nowadays is to fill the stadium and get this guy in and get this guy in, and it's not a bad thing. That's quite a good thing in terms, because obviously you want to make it so it's the biggest show in America, in the world. You could argue that the Tokyo Dome is still the biggest show in the world, but then obviously you've got WrestleMania, which is obviously shown at 200 countries worldwide. So you've got that distinction. But the fact that we can say that every March, April, there is the biggest show, and the fact that all these independent promotions now stand pretty much outside the venue, with Ring of Honor on one side, Dragon Gate at one side, and PWG at one side, and it's, rather than it just being the one major company, it's now just a massive, almost like festival of wrestling for an entire week.
Takes over the city.
And the fact that when we were on the Royal Rumble preview on Friday, the fact that we said that there are now, when I was reading an interview with the guys that own the Cowboy Stadium, the AT&T Stadium, and they said when we built the stadium in 2009, it broke ground and opened up. We built that stadium in regards of knowing we wanted big sporting events. We wanted the Super Bowl. We wanted the NCAA championships. We wanted WrestleMania. Yeah. WrestleMania is now on that par that if you get WrestleMania, you're getting a Super Bowl level event. That is how big it is nowadays.
I mean, you and I, being dudes in England, are both like, well, we'd love a WrestleMania in the UK.
It never happened.
Frankly, I'd settle for a third-rate pay-per-view. Honestly, if WWE came out and said, right, Royal Rumble 2016, 2017 is going to be in London, England, right, I would be in London that weekend, whatever the hell I had to do, because a WWE pay-per-view in the UK is the one thing that I want in life at the moment.
There is a possibility of them being able to do live pay-per-views in the UK now that they have the networks. So essentially, they are not constrained by their own pay-per-view TV deals. But I just don't think it would be feasibly possible at this current moment.
With the network, surely it's more feasible because
it is, but you
haven't got to worry about the pay-per-view companies wanting to put it out. I mean, obviously at the moment they do both, but when they get rid of the pay-per-view people altogether, I think it's possible.
But the biggest problem is you're alienating your biggest market. Now, as whatever you say, America is their biggest market. And granted, if you think about it, say the Royal Rumble's in London, and let's say, for example, they have it at 7 o'clock. Royal Rumble starts at 7 o'clock in the UK in the evening, so it goes from 7 till 10 or 7 till 11 or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
In America, they're split into different time zones, so it can be as early as 5 hours behind you or 8 hours behind you.
To be honest, as a UK person, I mean, I don't know how time zones work perfectly, but surely you could set something up that you put on Rumble in the UK at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and so that it works out.
But then you've also got to think logistically as well that it's just a logistical task and it probably wouldn't work, which is why they stopped doing the pay-per-views in the UK, and we just went back to doing TV, or they just started doing TV shows instead. So rather than just having one pay-per-view, we now get 4 TV shows a year.
I mean that's the other sort of they don't do Rebellion or even they do the Raws now. Surely the same logistical issues that you have with a Raw, you'd have with...
No, because Raw in the UK is taped at 8 o'clock in the evening, so that it can be broadcast in America at the same time.
Yeah.
They call it pseudo live, but Raw is always taped around about 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening in the UK, and then it gets shown again in the UK at 2 o'clock in the morning in its standard slot. But then it also gets shown in its standard slot in USA around about 9 o'clock. Which is how they get away with it.
Unless they taped it.
No, yeah, they always
I mean,
tape it.
there's also the part of, I bet the UK fans would totally get into starting the pay-per-view at 2 in the morning.
What do you mean, like
I,
what doing?
yeah, just
What
do
is
it.
it? What
Do it
doing?
live. Do it live.
Again, they wouldn't be allowed to. Legal issues. You're not you. I know this sounds weird. There are certain laws which restrict like times you can have in certain events and like
Stuff
certain.
like the sales of alcohol, I imagine.
If you have a say for example at Christmas, pubs actually have to apply for a special license to be 24 hours over the Christmas period.
Yeah.
And okay, like Wembley and O2 are going to be different because obviously they're stadium and arena venues as such. But if you think about it, if they're not doing a pay-per-view until 1 o'clock in the morning, most travel stops at about midnight.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
but then starts up again at 6 o'clock.
but the pay-per-view finishes at 4. And okay, you might be lucky with getting a couple of early buses and a couple of early, but it's like I said, at the end of the day, I think it is just logistics at the end of the day. And maybe in a couple of years when the network is just their sole provider of intake and their sole provider of pay-per-view, possibly. Just at this current moment, there's just no point.
One day, it's the dream. That's the dream. You know, Martin Luther King had a dream. I have a dream of Royal Rumble in the UK, and I will hold on. I will hold on to that dream with everything I am till the end of my days. But anyway, Royal Rumble 2003. Obviously, we're watching this on the network.
Indeed, we are. Wait. If we've got to do it for the network, which is only $9.99 or £9.99.
It's £9.99 in the UK. Let's not get into why it's more expensive for the UK fans.
Well, there is a reason, and Justin and me have spoken about this actually on air before when we spoke about it. It's most likely due to bandwidth issues. Because even obviously, granted, it's not streaming from an American server, but it's an American-based network, which is why when you think about it, I mean, you know the difference between US Netflix and UK Netflix. The reason UK Netflix is so different is because it's based in the UK, that version, whereas the US Netflix is in the US. So I think that's probably the reason why we're just paying the extra surcharge because obviously we're having to pay for the
access to an American network.
So it's actually $15.20.
Yeah. Anyway, in order to sync you guys up with us, we are on Royal Rumble 2003 on the WWE Network, and we are at 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 13 seconds. So we'll give you a little bit to sync that up, and then we'll count you in order to press play. Because obviously, you know, it helps if you're synced up as close as possible to us, even though we're not actually calling the match per se. You know, what you do not want is you don't want to be watching it. There's part of the match going on, and I go, holy shit, Blue Meanie just came out, and he didn't come out, but you know, me to go like, holy shit, so and so just came out, and then you're like, oh, now I know what's gonna happen, you know.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, I'll be getting the preview episode of the Royal Rumble that we did on Friday up onto the audio side. Hopefully later, actually probably straight after this, probably.
It's up on YouTube already.
Yeah, no, the Google Hangouts put it straight up onto YouTube, but obviously I'll put it up onto Podbean as well, so that it's on audio podcast as well.
Yeah.
Because the MMR obviously was originally a audio show, and obviously since the Google Hangouts has become a lot better, it's easy to put it on Google Hangouts. And here's an interesting fact for you. I can tell you a little secret as to why I called it Monster Madness Radio.
Ooh. Do tell.
When I used to be on Scyther podcasts, I used to do morning.
That's where I discovered you, by the way.
I used to do a morning. Well, in the last couple of months before it all happened, it all kicked off, I used to do a morning radio show called Morning Madness Radio. What if you look at Morning Madness Radio?
MMR.
What are the three initials?
Yeah, MMR.
So, rather than it being Morning Madness, changed it to Monster Madness Radio.
And if people want to hear the full story of James and the Cypher podcast situation, I think we went into it about a year ago when you guested on Tom's chat room.
June 2013. It was the week of E3.
Well, what you will find is it's now on my new channel, the channel that I am representing at the moment, Tom Williams Productions. It's on there all three. Was it 3.5
About
hours?
4 hours of it.
The whole thing's there. Yeah, this is why you and I aren't supposed to be together.
I think I was trying to do almost a homage to Dropkick Radio with was it the 5 hour Alex Shane interview.
The 5.5 hour. Yeah. Oh man, those are good times. But anyway, you've had enough time to sync up with the Royal Rumble, so
If you haven't now, you're screwed.
yeah. If you haven't, pause this and get yourself ready, because if you're watching live, well, bleh.
If you're watching live, that's interesting. Because how the hell are you watching a 2003 pay-per-view live in 2015? That's quite interesting.
If you're watching live, how are you watching a 2003 pay-per-view and a commentary recorded by two idiots in 2015 live at the same time? You're a wizard!
I will say that we did make a joke when, again, on the Sides podcast. I think we done the Hell in a Cell between Taker and Lesnar, and it came up with, was it live in wherever the hell it was? I think it was like Nebraska or wherever it was. And it goes live, and somebody said something, and I went, yeah, just to make proof, this match is still going on 6 years later, and neither man still have won, apparently.
Yeah. And of course, we are. Oh, interesting enough, Royal Rumble 2003, sponsored by PlayStation 2. Live from Boston, Massachusetts. Let's get set up.
Back at the time when games consoles used to sponsor pay-per-views.
Yeah, of course. It's also probably at the same sort of time that cigarettes were sponsored on TV. Just to clarify things, obviously the pay-per-view, the stuff that we haven't gone into. Spike Dudley defeated Stevie Richards. Steven Richards. Oh, he was still Steven Richards at this point.
That was Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah. And of course you've got Brock Lesnar defeated The Big Show with Paul Heyman. Hey, what's Heyman doing not at Brock's side?
Back at Survivor, I can tell you the entire story if you want.
That was when Heyman turned on him because Big Show was a better prospect.
He turned on Lesnar at Survivor Series 2002, and basically Lesnar was going through hell, and they said, okay, if you want to be in the Royal Rumble, beat Big Show. And he did.
Mm-hmm. Back when beating the Big Show was actually difficult, I think.
That one at the time, yeah, because it was Paul Heyman was trying to do everything to get the cheap win.
Yeah, and of course you've got the Dudley Boys. That's Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley. For those of you who are not long-term wrestling fans, that's Bully Ray and Devon.
No, that's Bully Ray and Reverend Devon.
I'm not sure whether they know him as Reverend, because that's going even further back than this.
Reverend Devon.
He was just Devon when he last appeared on TNA.
Reverend Devon. There's a character I won't soon forget. Was it freaking Deacon Batista?
Yeah, that's a freaking Deacon. I did a short let's play of one of the old WWE games during the time that Reverend Devon was a thing, and every night, because it's one of those games where you can run around the back of the arena and talk to people, Devon's always there. He may not be involved
in the show. But he's always there.
But he's just always there, and every time you talk to him, he's like, "Can you give me some money for the church?" And I just can't help but laugh at that.
Let's walk away from that one, shall we? Before we get, yeah.
What's that? Is that the Pope? Oh, he's kicking my door down. Oh dear. Yeah. Then you got Tori Wilson versus Dawn Marie. Was this the Al Wilson died in bed with Dawn Marie angle?
I think so.
Was this the start or the end of that? It was something, the storyline, Tori Wilson's dad, Al Wilson, married Dawn Marie and got so excited on their wedding night, he just happened to die.
Yes.
Which given what happened with Dawn Marie recently, I kind of agree with the guy.
Yes, that was that. It was.
You find yourself naked near Dawn Marie, separated from your money, and you just decide to die.
Yeah.
She did some bad things. And then of course you've got Triple H, the champion, accompanied by Ric Flair, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Scott Steiner, and evidently losing it.
No, He kept the championship. He just lost by disqualification.
Lost by disqualification. Scott Steiner.
That was it was an interesting feud that went really awkward, mainly because Scott Steiner would not do anything to help Triple H for some reason.
It's Scott Steiner giving Triple H what he deserves. Somebody no-selling Triple H.
Yeah, but let's not get into that one again either, because that's a different argument for a different day.
And then, of course, the WWE champion, one Mr. Kurt Angle, accompanied by Team Angle of Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, defeated Canadian Wrestler X by submission.
This Chris Benoit.
I've just got into calling him Canadian Wrestler X. I just like that now. I also like the fact that if you create him on WWE 2K15, you get banned. That's actually a thing. If you create him on the new WWE 2K15, which by the way is not a very good game, you get banned.
Rightfully so. I don't see what because there's fucking keyboard warriors going, I'm going to make Chris Benoit because I'm special. No, you're an idiot. Go away.
Yeah.
You deserve to be banned.
And then you've got the 30-man Royal Rumble match for the World Championship of the winner's brand. So at this point, were you not allowed to switch brands by winning?
This was the first year that you could do it, but
the first year you could do it because the stipulation doesn't seem to say that. It just seems to say that you only have a shot at your brand's champion.
This was the first year you could actually do it, but because Lesnar won it, he just stayed on SmackDown because he had the whole Lesnar thing, and they wanted Lesnar in Angle. Benoit was the first person to jump brand, and if anything, Benoit was the only person to jump brands over it. All the others stayed on their specific brand.
Yeah, Batista was Triple H said you're jumping brands, and then he didn't.
Ray didn't because he lost it to Orton. Taker didn't, and nor did Cena.
Yeah. So, yeah, you've had time to sync up. We've talked gibberish for a little bit. Let's actually start the match. Shall we do a countdown?
We can indeed. We can indeed. What? I don't know. That's not even words. We can indeed.
No, it's not English anyway. So yeah, go ahead, James. You can do the countdown.
I wish I had the ability to do video editing and do like a Chris Jericho style, like 5, 4, kind of thing.
Yeah. Break the walls there.
Maybe Pyro going up behind me going, yeah, it's me. I'm the first entrant.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Ooh, the rules.
Oh, back when McDonald's was still sponsoring them as well.
Yeah. Oh, here are the rules. 2 superstars start in the ring. Every 90 seconds, another superstar will enter the ring. Elimination occurs when you are thrown over the top rope and both feet touch the floor. The last remaining superstar wins the title shot at WrestleMania. This match has been going for so long. Surely people know the rules by now. Why do you need to overly explain the rules, man? We know the rules. Christ. Even if it's your first Royal Rumble, you pick it up after a few eliminations. Why
do they do at UFC events when it's a championship match? Why do they always say it's 5 rounds?
Look at number 1, man. It's the Heartbreak Kid. I am quite excited to see a Shawn Michaels match again.
It just adds to the aura of the whole event itself. If you describe what the event is, it just adds to that aura.
Yeah.
Same with the Elimination Chamber. Why do they announce the Elimination Chamber rules every single time? Because it adds to the aura of the event.
Indeed. From San Antonio, Texas, by way of Arizona, wearing boots that don't fit his trousers, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I can't believe how many people didn't realise that Shawn Michaels was actually born in Arizona.
Love all the HBK things. That crowd doesn't look safe. It looks like there's too many people all close together. It looks like Hillsborough's about to happen.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not make Hillsborough jokes. Oh man, Jim Ross, overexcited as usual. A large fat man holding a HBK sign.
HBK, back when he had the really awkward short hair.
Yeah. He just threw off his ring jacket like it was on fire. Ah, it's hot. I wonder who's gonna be number 2. Let's have your guesses, guys. Now, it's Jericho. Funny that we referenced him a few seconds ago.
No, it's not Jericho. It's
It is.
someone else.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
This is Jericho's music.
But who is it?
It's Christian. What?
Okay, yours is going much slower than mine because mine's about 15 seconds ahead of yours already.
142.50. One. Jericho's just.
I'm at 143.11, so yours is obviously slowed down at some point.
Well, Shawn Michaels is getting a beating of a lifetime.
Jericho with the first steel chair of the evening.
The first? You mean there's more?
I believe so.
I suppose steel chairs in the Royal. I suppose weapons in the Royal Rumble is a cool thing.
Yep. There's no ruling that says you're not allowed to use them.
Well, no. There's no. So why is the referee trying to stop him?
Well, because if you smack somebody over the head with a steel chair, they can get a concussion.
Yeah, but like, it's not against the rules. It'd be like in a no disqualification match where somebody pulls a weapon and starts hitting the opponent with it. They're like, "Oh yeah, no, I gotta stop you.
No, yeah, it's not against the rules, but you don't want them to injure somebody else, do you?
Who's next? Who's coming out at number 3?
Christopher Nowinski.
Stop living in the future. This guy was a really weird situation. I mean, he only lasted. He wasn't there for long, was he? He wasn't in the WWE for long.
About a couple of years.
Didn't he get injured and end his career like really quickly?
Yeah, post-concussion syndrome, I think it was, wasn't it? And that's where
he's a guy who I think had a really bright future, but like didn't. I mean, obviously, he's making changes in medical science, which is a good thing.
I have this horrible feeling that Corey Graves is the new Christopher Nowinski, isn't he? Corey Graves had a bubbling future and is now to retire from in-ring action due to post-concussion syndrome.
Yeah. Nowinski, though, I mean, I was looking into a bunch of wrestlers who were in WWE around this sort of time, who, Michael's gone already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bloody hell. I thought he'd have lasted a bit longer than first out at number 3, like, you know. Wow. But obviously, I mean, people who... I was thinking about a bunch of wrestlers who obviously were around this sort of time who did fairly well and looked quite good. Like Nathan Jones is one that was on my list.
Oh, what, the Beast of Bogger Road?
Yeah, what a great build-up. This guy was in jail for armed robbery. This guy had potential to be a murderer. Number 4. Ray.
Did he
Is he
actually
going to shoot out the floor? Nope. He used to shoot out the floor, didn't he? Because I remember at one WrestleMania, when he was doing the whole shooting out the floor thing, the lift got stuck and he just appeared over the top of this gap, like... Oops.
Yeah, it was the one against CM Punk.
But yeah, obviously shooting him out the floor ain't going to do his knees much good. Nowinski really clever, just sitting around at ringside, just waiting. I do like that. I do think that's a really clever thing that, you know. Not enough people do that. Not enough people do their entrance at the Royal Rumble and are like, yeah, do you know what? I'm just gonna stay here.
Because there's no
rule against it.
There's no rule, but the thing is, in terms of again, obviously it's creating a story situation. There's no one that's ever had the story of being shit talking kind of. I'm just going to sit in the corner. There's no one's ever really had that story.
No, but I mean, if there's somebody in the booked to be in the Royal Rumble, booked relatively early, who's booked to be a smart guy, you know, you'd think that logic would dictate that you've got a very small chance of winning the thing if you're number 4 or number 5, right? When there's 30 guys in the match, I'm just going to stay at ringside for a bit because, oh my God, my favourite time period in Edge's career, when he was a bit... This was just coming out of King of the Ring, wasn't it? Or has he won King of the Ring at this point?
Yeah, he won King of the Ring in 2001.
Yeah, so Edge is King of the Ring. This is like Edge when he was really good and really sort of really hyped and Intercontinental Champion. And doesn't he win the tag titles with Hulk Hogan around this sort of time?
He done that in 2002. This was when he had the tag team titles with Rey Mysterio. Had the whole SmackDown 6 thing,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until about a month later they ended up having neck surgery.
Again, another one who ended his career too early, man.
Well, he didn't end his career too early. He was forced to end his career too early.
Yeah.
But if rumour states true, 2011 was going to be his last year anyway.
Oh, he was going to go anyway.
He said that he was going to be one of those people that would just wait until the end of his contract and then call it quits. And and his last year was either going to be 2011 or 2012, and that was going to be his last year.
Oh, Edge's feet nearly touched the floor then. Referee Jimmy Corderas at ringside. A referee who's transcended being a WWE referee and has now got a really promising media career out of it. It's good to see somebody who was in WWE who obviously wasn't a performer who made something post their WWE run. You know, Edge is one of those guys who's doing a lot of acting at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, as much as we kind of not chastise him, but as much as a lot of fans do kind of berate him for all of it, obviously, you know, you got all the big ones, you know, Rock, Austin, all the big ones that have gone into major movie productions. Obviously, Austin's doing his Broken Skull branch stuff. You know, Jericho's got Fozzy. You know, Hunter's now working inside the company essentially. So,
my favourite Christian music, by the way. Christian, at last you're on your own.
There is scope.
I love that one.
I don't want to say like there is like this, but I think you understand what I'm meaning. There is scope that if you achieve a following of some kind, that there is life after wrestling.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at someone like, you look in the same breath. You've got Edge, who who's got a really good who's got a decent acting career, and then you look at like Rey Mysterio, who has been missing for quite a while, but the chances are that when he's out of WWE contract, he's going to go to Lucha Underground and continue wrestling. It's like he's got nothing but wrestling.
Yeah,
you feel for a guy like that.
But I think he had to have known that once you put the mask on, that is your career in Mexico.
Yeah, but at the same time, the man's knees don't work anymore. The man's knees don't work very well. You know, it's like you'd really like to see something come of this.
But at the end of the day, anyone that says that, I'll say, but Edge's neck doesn't work very well, and yet he's still doing things afterwards, so there's no excuse for why Ray can't do it.
Chavo Guerrero! Oh! What was this music?
I think yours is sinking back up mine now.
What was this music?
Los Guerreros.
No, it really wasn't. It do.
Oh, that was probably his singles music that he used then.
This is well before Los Guerreros.
No, this was Los Guerreros time. Los Guerreros was late 02. Late 02 to about late 03.
Rey Mysterio clearly wearing a microphone under that mask because he was far too loud to not be. Ooh, Nowinski! Yep. Hurricanrana. Bye, Nowinski. You were really, really clever, and then you decided to actually get in the ring, and that was your downfall, bro. That really was your downfall. Bye, Ray. That really, really was your downfall.
Such an underutilized superstar, in my opinion, Tajiri. Tajiri is one of those guys they could have made such a big star out of. Because he just.
He's not in the match on mine yet. We really have
Well,
broken sync a bit.
yeah, yours is outsynced mine.
I'm a fuckload behind you. Whoops.
Tajiri.
Don't know how this has ended up happening, but yeah, Tajiri, really, yeah. He still does stuff as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's working in Japan.
I mean, there was that really ropey period where he claimed Tori Wilson belonged to him, which was a bit, oh dear, what are you doing?
See, they always used to do the green mist on there, but they could have made an entire, not character, but an entire thing out of using the green mist, and that one day he uses the black mist because the black mist is the worst one.
What's the difference between the mists? Because what's it made of? The mist that they do?
I actually don't know, because he was one of the only people that used it. Him and Musa.
Because it can't actually be that dangerous. I mean, surely it's just like some sort of baking soda and food dye. I don't really know the background of stuff like the mist and what it's all about. You know, why is one color worse than the other? Because all it's doing is just impairing your vision.
There we go. Asian mist refers to the illegal maneuver of spitting a coloured liquid into the face of an opponent. After doing so, the opponent will be in storyline blinded or experience intense stinging in the eyes. Asian mist can come in almost any colour, but the most common one used is green. On rare occasion, a wrestler will use a flammable substance like alcohol, and I've actually got a list here of what the green mists, what the mists actually mean. So green mist is the most common one, which obscures the opponent's vision. The red mist is purported to burn rather than blind. Black mist is an even more powerful mist, which is purported to severely blind an opponent for a prolonged period of time. Blue mist is to send an opponent to sleep, and yellow mist is proposed to paralyze them.
Oh man, blue and yellow would be a really cool thing if somebody actually did if somebody did the blue mist and then like the guy just fell asleep. I'd love to see something like that. It's like superhero powers, isn't it?
That's why I said the black mist is always my favourite one, because they could have made such a character of him using the green mist, using the green, and then one day he uses that black mist, and everyone just goes, "Oh my god, he actually went there."
Or even the character enters the last man standing match, and then they use the yellow mist, paralyzed, can't get up, down for the 10 count. Interesting seeing Bill DeMott in a Royal Rumble match. Bill DeMott, obviously, WWE Performance Center head trainer at the moment. About the same build as he is in this match as well. Tommy Dreamer with hardcore weapons. Now I'm excited. Tommy Dreamer with trash cans and kendo sticks and Bill DeMott immediately pokes his head through the ropes and gets hit in the head with a trash can. Bill, you're supposed to be a fucking trainer. Use some logic. Don't poke your head through the ropes when Tommy Dreamer's got a trash can. Shades of the Sandman with the kendo stick, of course. Tommy Dreamer killing people with that kendo stick. Edge has got a kendo stick. Oh, it's like tennis. Yeah, Bill DeMott was never going to hang on to the top rope and not get eliminated. I'm sorry, that guy's too large.
Oh, handspring back elbow. Oh, Tajiri. I do feel bad for people like Ultimo Dragon and Tajiri, because they had there was an amazing cruiserweight division and they just kind of screwed it all up.
They gave the title to Hornswoggle.
That was 2007. I'm talking about 2004, when you had like Ultimo Dragon and.
Interestingly enough, this morning I was looking at betting odds for the Royal Rumble that's today,
Paddy
and
Power.
Hornswoggle is the farthest outsider to win the Rumble.
Paddy Power.
Yep, the Bunny's on the list. One year, WWE are really going to just have to take the piss and just get some ridiculous characters to win the Rumble. Oh my, Bull Buchanan. Sorry, B squared. John Cena's former running buddy. Didn't he appear about a year ago on WWE TV saying that John Cena ruined my life?
Yeah, back in the This Is Your Life segment.
Yeah. Why did this guy never do well? This guy's massive and really athletic. Seriously, what the hell? They immediately eliminate the guy. This guy is... He's got the size, he's got the look, and he's got the athleticism. WWE, are you stupid? Seriously. What happened to Bull Buchanan?
He got released after the Rumble.
Why?
Well, there's probably people that get released like that. There's probably a reason behind it, and they probably don't want to say it publicly. And I can only assume there might be backstage stuff. At the end of the day, if he gets released, he gets released. What are you going to do?
I just, as a long-term WWE fan, Edge and Christian both eliminated. As a long-term WWE fan, it's like it hurts me when you see these guys who look at the time to have so much upside.
Doesn't hurt me because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, if they're released, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And from everything I've ever heard, if you want to get in that company, if you want to get higher up in that company, you've got to learn, or you've got to know that you can't back down, and you've got to go up against some ideas. And I have a feeling the majority of the people that are being released are just in there, not just for the money, but just because they can say, I got there. And I think that's my biggest problem.
Yeah.
I bet you, because look at Cena, look at Miz, Rusev, all that. I bet you all the people that were big in the last 10 years were big because they actually stood up to the management and said, "This is what I want. This is what I want done."
Yeah, his Wikipedia doesn't seem to have any reason why Bull Buchanan was released, so WWE obviously didn't say anything.
And I bet you,
he was high on something.
I know. I don't want to speculate, but if I had to push, I'd probably say there might just be backstage stuff. Maybe they just didn't think he was as good as people thought he was.
Because everything I've seen of him, he looks really good. I mean, he's a really, really tall, big guy who can do a top rope leg drop. And I mean, he had all the opportunities. I mean, he was put with Bossman when he first came in, put with Bossman, put with the Right to Censor, which obviously a bit of a joke gimmick. But at one point, some of the top heels in the company when they were at their prime, when they were doing that.
But what does that say? That they put him with this guy and they put him with that guy and they put him with that guy.
Yeah, well, he was still quite young at that point,
But if you look at the majority of wrestlers, most wrestlers, their peak is around about that mid-20s, early 30s kind of thing. It's generally the peak. So I'm not going to say obviously whatever, but for me personally...
Oh my god, Matt Facts. Matt Hardy version 1. I forgot Mattitude.com. It looks really weird on the WWE Network with the WWE Network over the top of it as well. But yeah, a parody of WWE.com's design at the time. Matt Hardy's version 1 thing with the Matt Facts. At the Royal Rumble 2003, he strongly dislikes mustard.
That version of the website sucked.
It really was. It wasn't great.
I mean, the one we've got, like the one they've got right now, is actually really good. I actually really like it.
But Matt Hardy's version 1's gimmick. What say you about that time period in Matt Hardy's career when he went solo from the Hardy Boys? And
do you know what? And I've said this before. I was always such a bit better fan of Matt than I was of Jeff. I thought Matt.
Yeah.
I thought they could have made Matt the biggest star in the company. Not probably not the biggest star, but one of the biggest
The
stars in there.
bigger star.
And I lost respect for Matt in 2010. I've never, ever, ever had any respect for him
The
again.
Matthew and the grapes and the.
No, here's my thing, right? He kept coming out months prior saying, I want to leave, I want to leave, I want to leave. And I said, if you want to leave so badly, why don't you go up to Vince and say, fuck it, I'm done?
I want to go, yeah. Punk did it.
Well,
sort of. Rob Van Dam, I feel, doesn't age.
not in the last 10 years at least, no.
He looks the same here that he does now. Maybe he's slightly slower. But I always had a negative thing of RVD.
Mm.
Oh, hang on. I'm gonna have to stop briefly because Eddie Guerrero's here. Things are about to pick up, and it's good to see Eddie Guerrero. Again, somebody who we lost far too early. It's becoming like a eulogy, this alternate commentary. Eddie Guerrero, obviously, 3 years away from...
It's not really a eulogy when the only person that's come in so far that has unfortunately passed away is Eddie. So it's not really a eulogy.
It's weird watching an Eddie Guerrero match. I mean, I was so broke. I was so torn up. But yeah, this was definitely the Los Guerreros time period because he's wearing the same tights as Chavo, just a different colour.
I mean, I don't want to say this, but I've never really been torn up over sort of major deaths because at the end of the day, when you think about it, around this time, and I don't want to say it like this, around about sort of 2002 to 2005, there were so many that just dropped off.
Mm. For me though, Eddie was out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere.
Eddie was the first major one that was still contracted on TV. I think that was one of the reasons why it was so big, because he was the first one in a long time that was still contracted whilst on TV. I mean, and if you don't count Owen Hart, which obviously was a horrible accident on pay-per-view, Eddie, I think, was the first death whilst on who was still contracted to them whilst they had a TV show. Like I said, if you don't count Owen Hart, which obviously was a horrible accident, I think Eddie was the first.
Pre-face paint Jeff Hardy. What's your opinion of the Jeff Hardy face paint? I quite like it. I quite like seeing face paint back in wrestling.
I don't mind it personally.
Oh, this is clever. Shannon Moore, lying on the floor next to the ring, kicking Matt Hardy in the back to keep him in the ring. That's really smart.
My take on face paint is this: I don't mind face paint as long as there's a reason for it. If a guy's coming out who's got face paint just for the sake of face paint, then there's no reason.
So like Gold Dust, Stardust makes sense because it's the gimmick.
It's part of the character.
Jeff Hardy because the charismatic enigma thing.
Makes sense because of the character.
Sting because he's Sting.
Because of the character.
Yeah.
But if it's just a guy coming out with face paint just for the sake of face paint, then there's no point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know somebody's going to bring up.
What's your take on
Finn
on Virgil Devitt? Yeah, Balor.
Absolutely love it because.
But why? What I'm a bit down on is I'm down on WWE having him appear normally and then one-off face paint.
No. He's actually come out and said that he only uses the face paint for special events.
Oh right. Didn't he wear face paint at all of his matches at one point?
In the last sort of year or two, he was using face paint a lot more often. But I think for him to do it like that, like he's doing now, actually makes the aura of his character a lot better. Because then when you get to the point where he brings out the paint, he's in that mood, like he's in a fighting mood.
I'll tell you one thing: I hope he's in the Rumble tonight with paint.
Paint.
Oh,
paint.
I hope he is in the Rumble about like 13, 14, and he comes out with the paint. Don't you think?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who's in the Rumble today.
There's got to be somebody. There's got to be somebody come up from NXT, and if anyone's going to do the popping up from NXT, I hope it's him above like the Ascension.
Do you know what they should do? And I've said this for a while. You want to make that championship mean something, and it does, but you want to make it meaningful. Anyone who has that championship leading into the Royal Rumble gets an automatic spot.
The NXT title.
Whoever's got the NXT title gets an automatic spot because they are that top champion in that division.
I would imagine Sami Zayn will be in there.
But you see what I mean? If you have that title going into the Royal Rumble, you should not like what they do with TNA, where you can cash the title in for a shot or whatever it is, but you should just have that ability that because you are that champion at that time, you should get the. And I think that what you should have in like November and December is people clawing for that title match so that they can be the champion heading into the January Royal Rumble things, and that makes Royal Rumble a big thing in NXT at the same time.
Yeah, completely, man. Sorry, I got a bit distracted. Stacy Keibler just appeared.
Who's no longer with George Clooney anymore, is she?
No, George Clooney married somebody else.
Because that was one of the big things a couple of years ago, wasn't it? That when she like dumped him or they dumped each other, everyone was like, "What?"
Yeah, Stacy Keibler getting attention, but to avoid sounding like Jerry the King Lawler,
puppies.
Christ, I forgot how attractive she was. For risk of sounding like Jerry Lawler.
We're up to number 18.
Ring's getting quite full at the moment.
One of the last pay-per-views before the rise of this man.
I know who it is.
One of the last pay-per-views before we saw the beginning of this rise.
Yeah.
How about this for one? How about this? He was the first person that faced Lesnar for the title following WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Just think about that for a while. He had a title match within a year of debuting as the Cena character. That's impressive.
This whole gimmick, this whole rapper gimmick coming out of nowhere because he did a Vanilla Ice thing, but he did a Vanilla Ice thing, and Stephanie McMahon thought it was cool.
And then you hear, what was it in the?
And then he's John Cena, Superman, the biggest star in WWE.
And in the number of interviews he's given, where he basically said that the reason he did that character is because if he didn't do that, he was no longer going to be in the company anymore.
Yeah,
he was on the chopping block.
He would have been, he would have been dropped if he hadn't, Imagine WWE without John Cena.
Yeah, they would have just got somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean,
what I absolutely love. At the point I'm watching, is Cena's walking around the ring rapping, his lights are still on, and in the background you can just see like the most hardcore, aggressive Royal Rumble in the world going on, while Cena just casually walks around the thing and is hanging out with Cole and Taz. And RVD's not too happy about this and immediately throws him in the ring. Is he going straight out then? Is he going to go straight out, I wonder?
What I've learned from watching like documentaries and actually watching everything in general, especially the Paul Heyman documentary that came out last year, which is an amazing documentary, which is actually on the WWE Network if you ever get a chance to watch it, Tom. It's an amazing documentary. And one of the best things I've ever learned from it is just when Paul said, do you know what, at the end of the day, everybody in the wrestling world is replaceable. Everyone is. No matter how big you are, how tall you are, everyone can be replaced.
Yep.
And a lot of people are going, oh, well, you can't replace Taker and you can't replace Hulk Hogan. Yeah, you can't replace them to that level, but they can be replaced very easily.
Like or dislike John Cena, the guy's made something for himself, and
absolutely,
you've got to respect that.
I've always said at the end of the day, yes, he isn't the greatest wrestler in the world, but for everything he's done to that company and for everything he's done to, I don't want to say the world, but everything he's done to improve the lives of kids with like the Make-A-Wish and trying to just be as most
Yeah.
outreaching and outspoken.
I may hate
He's one of a kind.
his character, but I can't hate the man.
No,
I hate Superman John Cena. I detest his gimmick and his character, but I cannot. I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to word it. Obviously, saying, "Oh, I hate John Cena." I mean, I hate John Cena the wrestler, but the man, I can't. I
it it
can't not hate, not
it.
like.
It just bugs me whenever you get people on Twitter and on the internet going, if Cena wins we riot, and I'm just going, no, you don't. I bet you 95% of the people don't hate Cena. They
No.
hate Cena because it's just the in thing to do, but it's no
I
longer
mean, I
the
wish he had
in
a gimmick.
thing
I
to
wish he
do.
had a gimmick name so I could say I hate gimmick name, but I like John Cena. You
But
know.
the thing is, at the end of the day, it's no longer the in thing to do anymore. It's like people are already now turning on Roman Reigns because he possibly could win the Royal Rumble. And it's like,
Yeah.
why? Why are you turning on him?
Roman Reigns is a weird one. I hate the way WWE have booked Roman Reigns, but Joe Anoa'i I quite like. I like the guy. I like who he is. I like the man I've seen in backstage stuff. I'm not exactly sold on Dean Ambrose, but John Moxley, the man who is Dean Ambrose, is a hell of a wrestler and needs to be booked better.
I mean, the way I look at it now is the way I've been doing. I don't want to say live my life, but the way I've been sort of watching things now, especially wrestling for the last couple of years, I'm on a I don't care basis now,
Mm.
which is I will watch a show, and if something is stupid, I'll just go, it's stupid, and just carry on. I don't get angry about it, or I don't get
I can appreciate where you're coming from, bro.
because at the end of the day, my opinion doesn't matter in terms of where they're going to go because they've already mapped what they're going to do. So me saying to them your storyline's crap ain't going to do anything. So why get mad when you know it's not going to do anything?
I mean, another one in the match at the moment who is on my list of people who who aren't with WWE and had some real upside. Or another one for our dead list, by the way. But
Oh,
another one for our people who didn't do who were too good to not be in the WWE. Charlie Haas.
well, yeah, you can add Charlie Hoss and Shelton Benjamin to that list.
But Jamal in the match, facing off with his uncle Rikishi. Are they uncle or
Umanga!
brothers? Umanga, yeah. I mean, he was one that was really shocking. That guy had so much potential. The Umaga gimmick,
That was great.
brilliant. You know.
Umanga.
I mean, 3 minute warning wasn't a great thing to do to the guys, but wasn't a great thing to do to the guy. But obviously, Umaga, who a lot of people when he first did it, people would think, oh, this is some ridiculous Samoan monster gimmick, and the guy was Intercontinental Champion. I mean, the only downside is he kind of needed a manager because you couldn't have the Umaga character speak. Although they did when he was feuding with, was it Jeff Hardy? And during the strap match, in the build up for the strap match, he started talking.
Oh, CM Punk.
Punk, yeah, that's it. And in the build up for the strap match, it's Kane time. In the build up for the strap match, he spoke, and that completely pissed all over the Umaga character. The guy should never have spoken. He should be one of them characters who always has a mouthpiece.
I'm actually looking right now because you were saying this about earlier about the winners of the Royal Rumble. It's quite entertaining, actually.
The what? The winners.
The bets you can place on who do you think's going to
Oh
win the Royal
God,
Rumble.
yeah.
I'm reading them quite now. It's quite entertaining.
The bunny is down the
Bunny's
bottom.
at 80.
I think Vince is on the list.
Bunny's at 80 to 1.
I've had Triple H 33 to 1 each way to win the Rumble.
Sting at 25 to 1. Really?
Triple H 33 to 1 each way. If you have each way, that means you win if he's anywhere in the top four. I've thrown a tenner at bets on the Rumble.
Roman Reigns, Bo Dallas at 66-1,
Huh?
Christian at 80-1.
The match is getting really full at the moment. You need someone to. You need somebody to come in and just clear house. I mean, we were talking about Brock Lesnar. This show being all about the rise of Brock Lesnar. I was watching some of Brock Lesnar's dart matches.
What, in 02?
Yeah, when he was in a tag team with Ron H2O Waterman, who was basically just embodied steroids. This big giant black man looks like well, you know, looked a bit like somebody's creator wrestler.
Ezekiel Jackson? Do you remember him?
No, Ron H2O Waterman was his name. Powerlifter, according to Wikipedia. Didn't really make much of himself. Ron Waterman, according to Wikipedia, born 1965, an American mixed martial artist. Is this the same guy?
Was it
No, it's not. It's not
UFC?
the same. It's not the same guy because this guy's a white man. Ron H2O. No, I think it is. I thought he was a black guy. He must just have had a really, really nice tan.
You're on your own on that one.
Booker T talking about black men.
You're definitely on your own on that one.
Hey, Booker T's here. I love the flames. I love the pyro Booker T used here.
Royal Rumble Rooney.
Yeah. So what's the funniest? What's the funniest? What's the funniest bet for Rumble that you've found so far? The most interesting.
Not the fact that you can get El Torito or Hornswoggle at 100-1.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But then at the same time, I was one of the people that when they done the whole Santino thing a couple of years ago with Del Rio, I wanted Santino to win because I wanted to see what they would have done.
Mm.
Because I've always wanted that. I've always wanted to see a Royal Rumble match where something goes wrong.
One year they will just absolutely out of nowhere just get somebody ridiculous to win the Royal Rumble.
No. I want to see a Royal Rumble that actually goes wrong. And I'm not talking about the Lesnar, the Cena Batista one. I want to see a Royal Rumble match goes wrong where the other guy that was supposed to win wins. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because they tried to do his Rock and Big Show and Rock clearly won. And they tried to make a storyline out of that. The Batista Cena thing was just an accident. But I want to see somebody who was not supposed to win.
I'm sure there have been some eliminations in the Rumble that weren't supposed to happen.
Yeah, I remember Alex Riley a couple of years ago was eliminated too early.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would love to see somebody actually who's not supposed to win.
Alex Riley. Now there's a name as Hairy A-Train enters the ring. There's a name. Alex Riley. Why did he never make anything of himself in WWE?
Because the crowd never took to him.
I was a huge fan. His music was awesome as well.
Do you know the reason why he never took anywhere? Because he was always known as Mrs. Bag Boy, essentially.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I think that's one of the biggest things I've had. It's great to be a manager of somebody, but if you're a wrestler trying to manage somebody, your career is screwed unless you become bigger than the guy you're trying to manage.
Like Mizdow.
Yeah, but ironically, Damien is becoming bigger than The Miz.
Damien Mizdow, who I think is eliminating The Miz at the Rumble tonight.
I think we all believe that. It's either one or the other is eliminating the other.
Mm. Has Shawn Michaels been eliminated?
Yeah, he got eliminated right at the start, didn't he?
Oh yeah, because he's back. He's beating the piss out of everyone. seeing Test in the match in like those sort of cycling short trunk things, you know, it makes you think how close we are to the man dying.
It's Maven. Oh God.
Oh, is it? It's not this one. It's not that Rumble, is it? Where he eliminates Undertaker? No, that was a couple of years
No,
ago.
no. This was Taker's revenge.
Uh,
Oh Maven.
you poor sod.
Do you know all I remember about Maven? There's three things I remember about Maven: the Taker elimination.
Mm,
He was a general manager one week because he was amazingly somehow able to be picked onto that Survivor Series team,
yeah,
and he was an advocate of the Simon system. That's all I remember of his career.
yeah.
Actually, that's all
But
he did out of his career.
what you've got, what's really sad is none of the winners of Tough Enough have ever. Well, who
I've,
won Tough
I've,
Enough?
I've always
Maven.
said this.
Who
I've
won?
always
Who
said
won Tough
this.
Enough 2?
I've always said this, and this. Anytime you ever do a reality TV show, Big Brother, X Factor, Tough Enough, I'm a Celebrity, any reality show, do not win.
No, no.
Never win. Always
Who,
come
who won
second.
Tough Enough 2?
Uh,
Nydia, I think.
Isn't it her and Josh Matthews?
Yeah. No,
Have a
no,
look.
no. Josh Matthews was in it. He didn't win it.
Maven,
Morrison was in Tough Enough 2. So was
Ma-
Ryback, I think.
Maven and Nydia won the. No, Morrison. Ryback was in the 2004 one.
Can anybody hear the Tom is googling this alarm?
I'm googling it right now. Maven and Nydia won the first one. Jackie
Jackie
won
Gader, yeah.
won the second one,
Jackie Hoss, Charlie Hoss's wife.
along with Linda Miles, who lasted a year.
Yeah, that's right. Linda
Uh,
Miles, Shaniqua, wasn't it?
Morrison and Matt Capelletti won the third one.
Linda Miles, winner, competed as Shaniqua, the dominatrix valet of Doug and Danny Basham, and people wonder why she's not in the company anymore.
Yeah, Morrison and Matt Capelletti won the third one.
In terms of people who are in it, though, let's have a look at some of the people who were in it who Tough Enough 1. Chris Nowinski was in Tough Enough 1. Nope. This isn't a person. Who's this? Who's that? Josh Lomberger. There's Josh Matthews in number 1. Nydia. Who's Taylor Matheny? Did Taylor Matheny ever do anything?
No.
No. Making it to the finals. A finalist. Tough Enough 3. That was the one with John Morrison, wasn't it?
3 was Morrison and Matt Capelletti.
Yeah, Matt Capitelli obviously would have made it big, but had the brain thing. The brain hemorrhage. Was it brain hemorrhage or the brain tumor thing?
I believe so, yeah.
Then there was the $1 million, the $1 million Tough Enough. Now this is a good one. Marty Wright, The Miz, Ryan Reeves, Daniel Rodheimer. No, this is Nick Mitchell. But the funny thing about this one wasn't this one the one where
The whole angle
one of the
thing.
guys had a match with Kurt Angle and nearly made him tap out?
Yeah.
What was his name? That guy.
Daniel Puder.
Daniel Puder. Yeah. Boogeyman was in it. But yeah, Daniel Puder could have made Kurt Angle tap out, but Jimmy Corderas, I think, was the referee of that match. Had to stop the match. Made a pinfall out of it because Kurt Angle wasn't going to tap out because how dare he tap out to a young blood like this, like disrespectful kid. And then obviously the revival version of Tough Enough season. Is this season 5? Yeah, season 5 with
Nobody.
Ariane eliminated. Ariane eliminated first. Is now Cameron.
I still believe nobody.
I mean, to be honest, Matt Cross was in it.
M-Dog 20 for about 3 weeks.
M-Dog 20 went out week 2, I think. Miss America was in it.
Can we just focus back on the Royal Rumble? Otherwise, I might just put my head in my hands because that was a bad season of Tough Enough.
Yeah, it really was. Andy Levine won it and then
Oh,
went off and yeah.
Well, here comes the pain.
We can get back into the Royal Rumble now as Brock Lesnar eliminates everyone.
Well, I should say this properly. Well, here comes the pain.
Yep. The pain is on its way as far as I see it, but Batista at this time period was a really big guy, wasn't he?
He had just joined Evolution, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Orton was the last person to join.
I loved Brock Lesnar at this time period. Such a big guy.
Lesnar's got that Cena kind of thing against him, where he's just so freakishly strong. It just doesn't make sense. Like he should not be that strong.
He runs into the ring and clotheslines 4 different people. Guy knows how to wrestle a Royal Rumble. I mean, Cena's in there with him. Cena in jeans.
Oh, I forgot about that. The F5 outside.
Credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. Brock Lesnar. Credit where it's due. Sorry, no. John Cena wrestling a long period of this match in jeans. Double elimination. Brock Lesnar is a monster in this match.
And here's the thing. There's only one person left.
And we all know who that being.
And it's the guy making his return. This was his return match.
Was this his return?
This was his return.
Wait, 2003. He's not the dead man at this point, is he?
Nope.
He's the biker.
If I remember, because this is his return.
Oh, no, is this Big Evil?
Yep.
Oh.
He's back.
He loves Big Evil. My favourite Undertaker time period, Big Evil. With the devil on his shirt. Yeah. That pop. That Undertaker pop. I can allow you to say you just walk away. Love this. Love this time period of Undertaker. A lot of people say it was away from his original character, that he was just playing Mark Calloway at this time period. But he was. But at the same time, how amazing was this time period of Undertaker?
But think about it this way. And again, this goes back to Paul Heyman, and everyone else has said this. There's a reason I think he done the Big Evil thing, because the Undertaker character was played out.
Yeah.
He'd have done that for 10 years. He needed to adapt. He needed to change. And
it showed that the Undertaker character was able to survive a complete rehaul. You know, it'd be like John Cena coming out disappearing for a couple of weeks and then coming back as a Mexican luchador.
Yeah.
Hang on, no, he did that, didn't he? Juan Cena. when he was fired from WWE, but they had him booked on house shows, so they still had him appear. Undertaker eliminating everybody at the moment. Maven nearly did it again. Bye, kid. Bye, kid. I apologize for the breaking of your spine there, as you land neck first on the ring. Goodbye, Maven. I hope your spine recovers. Ow. That looked painful. That looked really horrible. Jeebus, A-Train.
But think about it. There's 6 guys left in the Rumble. Which one of these doesn't belong?
Van Dam.
Try A-Train?
Well, no, big guys. They're all big guys.
No, here's what I'm talking about. Out of the 6 there, 5 of them could legitimately win. A-Train couldn't.
No, but looking at this match, in terms of a guy who sticks out, it's the small RVD. You've got the massive Big Show, the gigantic Brock Lesnar. A-Train was a legit 350 at this point. Kane, Undertaker.
The reason I say that is when you think, right, now we've got 5 people, all 5 there can legitimately win.
Yeah.
Even at that point, like even at this point, even though it would have been weird, I still kind of would have been okay with the Batista win then.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
RVD gone. We are down to 4.
Hell of a match.
And this is what it leads down to. I know we've just stopped talking. I think it's because we're all invested in the final 4, even though I know what's going on.
Yeah.
We're just invested in the final 4 because when you look at it, it's like any one of those 4 could win.
Undertaker has a chair as well.
Oh, so good. And when you think about it, the 2 of them still work to this day.
Yeah.
And this was 12 years ago now. Now, granted, obviously, one of them's now super part-time, but still.
Well, to be honest, the last 2 in this match are both kind of part-time.
One more than the other.
Mm.
In a way, everyone's been saying this, but I've been thinking about this. The way they have made the WWE title now, it makes it feel important again. Because it's the first time the title has been defended in 6 months.
Yeah.
And it makes it like, now we've got a title match, I'm like, oh, okay. Now let's...
Got to give credit to Undertaker. The camera cut into Undertaker, and he's like, "You got me." You know, it's like, at least he's not doing the whole "I'm pissed about this." He retained his baby face and was like, you know, "You caught me," you know, and I do like that about Undertaker. Have we caught up with each other, by the way?
Yeah, I'm on the final 4 now. Lesnar going for the F5. Oh, take counters, going for the tombstone.
It's a hell of a...
Oh.
One thing you've got to love about the Royal Rumble when it goes down to the final 4 is obviously, at least in this one, you got, you know, in order to focus on 1 or 2 men, you need to have 2 guys out cold, like, don't you? You know, Kane and Batista laying on their backs, like.
And who are the final 3?
Kane,
Lesnar and the
Undertaker, and
Brothers of
Lesnar.
Destruction.
Yeah. And even Undertaker's teasing this now. It's like, why don't we be friends and let's just get rid of that big muscly guy?
Oh, no, wait, no, not going to happen.
And
got the
there
chair.
goes Kane.
Bye-bye, Batista.
Brock Lesnar, though, credit to him. Brock Lesnar is lying down at ringside. Undertaker gets a bit cocky, and here we go.
Well, Lesnar did just take a tombstone on his neck.
And Lesnar picks up the win. So Brock Lesnar will be facing for the championships. Kurt Angle, isn't it?
That's what ends up happening.
Lesnar Angle at WrestleMania. Oh, it's that WrestleMania, isn't it? Shooting Star Press.
Star Press WrestleMania, yeah.
Oh, it's that WrestleMania. It's the Shooting Star Press one. So yeah, this was a little bit. This went a little bit weird. This alternate commentary. I mean, we went off on some serious tangents. Started talking about people in Tough Enough in 2011, but obviously, we. We had a few issues with our syncing. Somehow we were completely synced to exactly the same product, but we got separated somehow.
Yeah, mine went ahead and yours went behind.
Yeah, so we're open to the idea. I mean, I certainly want to do more of these.
It's just as and when we can do them.
So how's about we leave it to the people watching or listening to let us know if you've enjoyed these things.
Email us at monstermadnessradio@gmail.com if you want to give us any ideas of matches you want us to watch. And make sure we can at least watch them easily.
If they're on the network, that'd be nice.
If they're on the network, obviously that's going to be great. But obviously, if there's a way that we can watch them, and if you know of a link that we can watch them, then we'll do anything.
I mean, if you want to let us know, hell, maybe you are watching this and you want to be the third member of our commentary team. Maybe you want us to actually commentate and call the match. I mean, obviously, the way we did it today sort of helped because we got unsynced at one point. I don't know how we ended up getting unsynced, but we did. Obviously, we're happy to do these. It was good fun. Commentating on the shows. I mean, I am more than willing to watch older stuff. I mean, I remember this match, bits of it, but hell, I'll watch 1980s WWE if people actually want to do it. I mean, maybe the next one we'll do over on my channel to give people on my channel a chance to look at it as well. Now, I do think it'd be nice for you guys to get in touch. Let us know what you thought. Now, obviously, you can email at Monster Madness Radio, and James, I'm sure, will let me know if you get to the emails. But hell, why don't you contact us on Twitter? Twitter's good.
On the Twitter.
On the Twitter machine.
No, I'm thinking of the Jericho thing of the Twitter.
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at TomWilliams1990, and James, you can be found on Twitter where?
DavidManning616. Actually, I've got two. You can either do personally. You can find me personally at DeadManic616, or find us on the Monster Madness Radio Twitter, which is at Radio Monster Mad.
Of course, since this is going out on James's channels, on James's YouTube channel, and on James's audio stream, I imagine.
Yeah, we'll be on the Monster Madness Radio stream.
I can be found on YouTube, youtube.com/TWilliamsPro.
Yeah, all the relevant links and that will be in.
It's all down. It's all down in the description anyway. But yeah, Royal Rumble is tonight at the time of recording this, and I'll be honest, I haven't been excited for wrestling for a very long time, but I am actually quite excited to watch it on the network. I now have the network, and I think in the meantime, I might watch some Total Divas. So leave me be.
Yes, I'm going to go. Whilst all that's happening, I'm going to go back and watch the end of the Daytona 24 hours when we have 4.5 hours of racing left. So I'm looking forward to the last 4.5 hours. Then it will be Royal Rumble, and then it will be hopefully leading up towards 12 hours of Sebring and the start of the Formula One season. Oh, yeah. And obviously we've got Six Nations 2 weeks on Friday.
So it was fun. It was fun doing alternate commentary for the Royal Rumble 2003. Make sure you let us know what you thought of it. You know where to find us on all of the social medias ever. So yeah, from me, Tom, from Tom Williams Productions, and from James.
Salutations, good people.